Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, in accepting this award, I have a little bit of mixed feelings because I think there's somebody in this room who deserves it more than me, and she would never dream that I'm going to speak about this, but here goes. When I had the idea of auctioning my ring, there was the auction at Sotheby's was maybe a month off, and there were all these complicated tax things, and I needed to get the advice of accountants, and just a raft of things. And Kim Letcher doesn't remember because I asked her about this last night, but we would often be on the phone at 10 or 11 at night, and the amount of effort she gave, it was right down to the to the last minute, but we saved hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes that went to help people. And we love Uncle Sam, but I'd rather have my ring go to help people. So Kim, thank you. Now, let me just briefly comment on some of the good that's come from that ring. It was $1.2 million that it went for, but I want to share with you what 20,000 of it went for. The Kiev Region Police told me that that their surveillance equipment was, as to use their words, was Stone Age. They wanted some money for surveillance. I gave it to them as fast as I could, and here's what happened with just $20,000. They bought the surveillance equipment that their undercover agents could use to record and eventually put in jail 11 members of an international human trafficking cartel. Now let me tell you what that means practically. The statistics are that when you put one human trafficker away, you're probably going to save 100 girls. When you have 11, I think that's 1,100 girls who are saved from absolute abject misery from a rather small donation. Well, let me update what I'm up to today. I want to tell you the story of a little girl, she's 14, but I am by trade a journalist, and I was in Ukraine interviewing war crime victims and writing articles about this. But this little girl, her name was Daria, she was in a police interview room with me in Bucha, and she's telling the story of how her mother and father were machine gunned down right in front of her, and she watched them bleed out. While she's telling this story, and I'm a journalist, I'm writing it down, but I can't help notice that she's speaking like this in a complete monotone, and she's describing it as if it happened to somebody else. Well, at the end of it, I asked the police translator, Daria is no longer in the room, is this girl going to get counseling? She's an orphan now, and she has, I can tell that she's disassociating. And Irina told me, no, there are millions of people in Ukraine right now with equally severe trauma. We're a country at war, we have no extra money, and we don't have enough therapists. She's on her own. So what I'm doing with whatever money I raise from now on, it's being used and it's being put into effect right now at the American University Kiev. What if we used artificial intelligence, something like ChatGPT? Are you familiar with ChatGPT? Hands up if you are. Yep, you all are. Okay. You can fine-tune large language models so that they can be extremely accurate if they're very focused. And what the American University at Kiev right now is doing is tuning large language models to make it possible for the 15 million people in Ukraine right now who have depression, anxiety, insomnia, panic attacks. And this is telling me that my 5 minutes is up. All right, I'm well behaved and I'm not going to go over my time, but I am copying what I did with the ring with 12 imperial dinner plates that belonged to Tsar Alexander. And I'm hoping that they raise millions, and I'm counting on dear Kim to help me with it.